Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Breakdown. Today we are finally covering the highly requested Aqua Control Pro series of pads, which are better known as the AC Pro series. This series represents our top of the line mouse pads, offering a zero compromise experience with even X and Y axes, smooth and consistent glides, as well as a wide range of softness and surface versions. All this, in combination with some other features on the AC Pro series, gives this series of pads a very universal performance profile, as they're well suited for all aim and game types, but with more customization options than the other AC series pads due to the different surfaces and base firmnesses. This pad performs so well it is actually the pad of choice for G2 Esports Jojimo, who uses an AC Pro custom with a photo of their cat Mango printed onto the pad's surface. So in today's episode of Breakdown, we're going to talk in depth all about the AC Pro series of pads and discuss all of its versions, performance profiles, base performance, the various softness types, its skate compatibility, and what aim and game types the various versions are best suited for, and much more. But before we dive in, if you enjoy the video and want to see more videos like this breaking down X-Raypad's other pad lineups, be sure to leave a like on this video and get subscribed. And if you'd like to learn more about the AC Pro series of pads or pick one up for yourself, you can check out the product links down in the video description. For versions, the AC Pro series of pads come in three types: the standard AC Pro Black, which has a black colorway, the AC Pro Neon, which features a beautiful pink-blue gradient coloring, and the AC Pro Custom, which can be fully customized with a design of your choice. The black and neon versions of the AC Pro are available in extra soft, soft, and mid-bass options, but the AC Pro Custom is only available in the mid-bass option. Now, depending on what version of the AC Pro you get, the available sizes for this pad will vary slightly, but all versions, regardless of their type, will be 4mm thick. Now, for the AC Pro Black and AC Pro Neon that use the extra soft or soft base, the pads are available in a large size, which is 360 by 300mm, as well as an extra large size, which is 450 by 400mm, and an extra large size, which is 500 by 500mm. Whereas the AC Pro Black and AC Neon that use the mid base are available in a large size, which is 360 by 300mm, a medium size, which is 490 by 420mm, an extra large size, which is 450 by 400mm, and the extra large square size, which is the 500 by 500mm version. And lastly, the AC Pro Custom is available in its own subset of sizes, and it's available in a large size, which is 360 by 300mm, a medium size, which is 490 by 420mm, and an extra large square size, which is 500 by 500mm. For pricing, the AC Pro Black and Neon versions with the extra soft or soft base retail anywhere from $39 to $69.90 USD, while the mid-base versions of these pads will retail anywhere between $49 to $90 USD, and the AC Pro Custom pads will retail between $59.90 USD and $96.99 USD. But as always with X-Raypad products, if you purchase them directly from X-Raypad, these pads will be available for quite a discounted price. However, if you purchase them from a third-party retailer, you'll be paying the full MSRP price. And don't forget that you can use code BREAKDOWN when purchasing any of the AC Pro series pads or any of other X-Raypad's products to save even more on your order. Now, for unboxing, the extra soft and soft base versions of the AC Pro series pads in both the black and neon forms will be shipped in tube packaging, similar to the packaging used for the extra soft and soft base heavy B pads, while the mid-base AC Pro Black and Neon, including the custom print version, will come flat packed. Now, all versions of the AC Pro can be repackaged. However, it's important to note that similar to the heavy B series of pads, the extra soft and soft base versions of the AC Pro cannot be reverse rolled. So if you need to repackage these pads, roll them with the base facing inward and the surface outward. As for the mid-base versions, due to their firmer base, they can't be rolled and will need to be repackaged in their flat packaging. And because of these repackaging guidelines, we advise you keep the AC Pro series packaging so you can safely store or transport the pads. It's also worth noting that due to the upgraded bases here in the AC Pro series pads, they do anchor themselves quite strongly to most desktops, so do be careful when removing them from your desk, and we'll talk more about how to safely remove them later in this video. It's also worth noting that just like the soft and extra soft versions of the Heavy B series pads, the extra soft and soft AC Pros, which come in the tube-like packaging, might not sit completely flat out of the box. If this happens to your pad, you can flatten it by pressing the base down to anchor it, starting at the middle of the pad and then pressing outwards. If the pad still doesn't sit flat, you can add a weight such as a stack of books or a large box on top of the pad and leave it on there for about 12 hours to flatten the pad. If that doesn't work, repeat the process as needed, but you should only need to manually flatten the pads once, if at all, out of the box. Now, for surfacing, the AC Pro series of pads, as expected since they're in the Aqua Control series, use the same non-coated Amundsen material for their surfacing. Its weaving is also the same style that we saw in the AC Plus V2 and the other AC series pads having the same layered cross-threading. However, on the AC Pro series specifically, the surfacing is less densely knit, and since the surface weaving is so similar to the other Aqua Control series pads, the AC Pro maintains many of their performance features such as the even XY axis balancing, smooth and consistent glide, hybrid-like performance profiles, high moisture resistance, and more, but with much better bases than the previous AC series pads. However, it's important to note that while all versions of the AC Pro series pad use the same surfacing, the printed versions, the Neon and the Custom, will be faster than the non-printed black versions due to the heat treatment used for the printing process, just as we saw with the printed versions of the Heavy B series pads. We'll go over the impacts of this heat-treated surfacing in a moment, but it's important to note that the Neon and Custom versions of the AC Pro, due to the surface treatment, do have a bit of a work-in period. This is because the heat treatment makes the surface material stiff, but the fabric will soften over use. So at first, the Neon and Custom AC series pads will feel very fast, much faster than their advertised performance profile, but as you use them and soften the surface fabric, these pads will slow down to match their advertised performance profiles, whereas the solid color black versions of the AC Pro, since they're not heat treated, will match their advertised performance profiles out of the box. Now, in terms of the individual performance profiles and softness types for the AC Pro series pads, just to keep things simple, we're going to break this down into the pad's 3 softness types per surfacing type, so the difference between all the versions of the AC Pro will be easier to understand. Starting off with the standard AC Pro series of pads, we'll first focus on the AC Pro Black Extra Soft, which is the slowest version of the Aqua Control Pro. This pad has a glide speed slightly faster than the Aqua Control Zero, but slower than the Aqua Control Plus, and the extra soft base in combination with the pad's 4mm thickness gives this pad a very high range of control variability, as you can press your mouse very deeply into the pad to increase the pad's friction coefficients. Next, we have the AC Pro Black with the soft base, which is the second slowest version of the AC Pro series pads, being faster than the Aqua Control Black Extra Soft base, but still slower than the Aqua Control Plus. It does have a firmer base than the Extra Soft version though, but the base is still soft enough that you can still press your mouse deeply into the pad to increase the pad's friction coefficients, just to a lesser degree than you could in the Extra Soft base version. And lastly, for the black version of the Aqua Control Pro, we have the AC Pro Black with the mid base, which is the fastest version of the Aqua Control Pro Black pads, being faster than both the AC Pro Black versions we just talked about and also faster than the Aqua Control Plus, but it is slower than the AC Pro Neon Extra Soft or the AC2. And due to the firmer mid base, you can't press your mouse into the pad nearly as much as you could on the other base types we just talked about, which gives this version a much lower friction coefficient and faster glide. Next, we have the AC Pro Neon series pads, which due to the printing process and heat treatment are much faster than the AC Pro Black series pads, but by varying degrees. Firstly, we have the AC Pro Neon with the extra soft base, which is faster than the AC Pro Black with the mid base, but slower than the Aqua Control 2. And while this pad is the same plushy base as the AC Pro Black Extra Soft, since the surface has been treated, even though you can push your mouse very deeply into the pad, the degree in which the pad's friction coefficient will increase will be much weaker compared to the untreated AC Pro Black Extra Soft surface. Next, we have the AC Pro Neon with the soft base, which, just like the Extra Soft base version, is faster than its non-treated counterpart despite having a similar softness due to the surface treatment, and it is also faster than both the AC Pro Neon Extra Soft and the AC2, and while you can press your mouse into the soft base to increase control again, due to the surface treatment, the range you can increase the pad's friction coefficient by is much weaker than it was on the black versions or the Extra Soft base version. And lastly, we have the AC Pro Neon with the mid base and the AC Pro Custom, which also uses the mid base. These are the fastest versions of the AC Pro series pads available, as it's faster than the AC2 and the AC Pro Neon Soft, and just like the AC Pro Black Mid, since the base is so firm, you can't really press your mouse into the pad to increase its friction coefficients, and in combination with the heat-treated surface, this all makes this version of the AC Pro very speed optimized with the lowest friction coefficients you'll find on the AC Pro series lineup. Now, despite the AC Pro series having a wide variety of performance profiles with varying friction coefficients, they do all fall into the hybrid range when it comes to specific performance profiles. However, depending on their surface type and softness, they range slightly towards the hybrid control or hybrid speed side of the spectrum. But regardless of what AC Pro version you get, since they're all hybrid-like in their performance, all types of them are quite universal in terms of their aim and game type compatibility. So you can use the AC Pro series pads for more static flicking-oriented games such as Counter-Strike, Valorant, Rainbow Six Siege, as well as more dynamic tracking-oriented games such as Overwatch 2, Marvel Rivals, Splitgate 2, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Battlefield, and more. And if you don't believe me when I say the AC Pro Series pads are very versatile in their usage, keep in mind that Jojimo, who plays for G2's VCT America's team, uses the fastest version of the Aqua Control Pro, the AC Pro Custom with the mid base in particular, to play Valorant at the highest level. So regardless of what game you play, you'll find an Aqua Control Pro Series pad that'll be perfect for your use case. And keep in mind that you can further optimize the AC Pro Series of pads by combining them with our Jade or Obsidian Series skates. So if you want to make your AC Pro even faster and smoother, you can use our Jade or Jade Ultra Series skates, or alternatively, if you want to make the AC Pro pads slower and more controlled, you can use our Obsidian or Obsidian Ultra Series skates. So keep in mind you can further optimize your AC Pro with our many premium skate offerings. Now for base types, the AC Pro Series pads utilize two primary types, the honeycomb polyurethane base and the new super grip polyurethane base. Now the black and neon AC Pro pads with the extra soft or soft bases utilize the honeycomb polyurethane base, which is the same fantastic base type we saw used on the Heavy B series of pads, and unsurprisingly, just like those pads, the base anchors the AC Pros exceptionally well and keeps the pads perfectly anchored on most test surfaces, ensuring the pad won't shift or move when used, even with your whole arm resting on the pad's surface. And the black and neon AC Pro pads with the mid base, including the AC Custom, use the new super grip polyurethane base, which is made of the same sticky polyurethane material as the honeycomb base, but instead of having a honeycomb texturing, it has a squared micro texturing across it, and despite the different texture, it also anchors these pads extremely well, which helps keeps the mid-base version of the AC Pro perfectly anchored on most test surfaces, and also prevents the pad from moving or shifting during use, just like the honeycomb polyurethane base did. Another great feature of these bases is that you can increase the anchoring strength of both base types by lightly misting the base with water, and then gently adhering the pad to your desk. This will anchor the pads even better than they do naturally, but as I mentioned earlier, since the bases are so sticky and they anchor the AC Pro pad so strongly, removing the pads from your desk can be a little tricky, especially if the pad has been anchored for a long time or with water. So to safely remove the pads, gently peel up one of the corners and gently pull the pads up and off your desk, but be careful not to bend or crease the pad while removing it so you don't damage the pad's surface or base. Now while the AC Pro bases do perform extremely well, due to their natural stickiness, these bases will collect dust and debris over time, especially if you move the pads around a lot, but rest assured you can clean the bases quite easily, and we'll talk about how to do this later in this video. Now in terms of skate compatibility, the AC Pro Series pads, due to their differing base softnesses, have varying skate compatibility depending on the version you purchase. For AC Pro pads with the extra soft bases, the pads would be best compatible with larger surface area stock skates as well as donut skates. However, smaller surface area stock skates and dot skates will bottom out on these pads, as their smaller surface area can't counteract the depth of the extra soft bases. The same goes for the AC Pro pads using the soft base, as it will also be the most compatible with larger surface area skates as well as donut skates, but again, smaller surface area stock skates and dots will likely bottom out in this base type though some smaller surface area stock skates might be compatible depending on their surface area, but it will vary from mouse to mouse. And lastly, we have the AC Pro pads using the mid base, which has the best skate compatibility out of the entire AC Pro Series lineup, as not only are they compatible with larger surface area full-size skates and donut skates, the firmer base allows smaller surface area stock skates as well as dot skates to be used without any compatibility issues. So be sure to keep this in mind if you want to pair your AC Pro with any of our Jade or Obsidian series skates, and be sure to get the skate type that will be most compatible with your AC Pro's softness type. For edge stitching, the AC Pro Series pads use a rounded edge stitching, which is similar to the edge stitching used on the Heavy B series pads as well as the Aqua Control Plus V2 series pads. This stitching sits even with the AC Pro's surface and 4mm height, ensuring there's no step or gap between the edge stitching and the pad's surface, and it's also made of a smoother, lower friction material compared to the previous AC version's edge stitching, and since it is a rounded edge stitching, it's very easy to run your arms and hands over all axes on the edge stitching, which means that movements up or down or across the pad's edge won't cause any significant drag. But it is worth noting that on the AC Pro Custom, the edge stitching will be made of a clear threading to better complement the custom art on the pad's surface, but despite its transparent nature, the edge stitching will still feel the same and have the same rounded nature as the other version of the AC Pro Series pads, so there won't be any difference in terms of feel or performance, but I just wanted to mention this to be thorough. For arm sleeve compatibility, since the AC Pro Series pads have a less grainy, less less abrasive surfacing than the previous AC series pads. The pads are much smoother to the touch. However, if you still want to wear an arm sleeve, all versions of the AC Pro are fully compatible with any gaming optimized arm sleeve with a spandex polyester blend, but it is worth noting that sleeves with a softer or textured surface will still feel very controlled, so if you plan on using an arm sleeve here on the AC Pro series of pads, be sure to get one with a proper material blend and a smooth surface for the best experience. In terms of the effects of moisture, as I mentioned earlier, since the AC Pro series pads surfacing is made out of non-coated Eminson fabric, like many of the other Aqua Control series pads, the surface is highly resistant to moisture. So not only will sweat from your arms or hands have a minimal impact on the pad's performance, it will also be highly resistant to humidity, and if any sweat does make contact with the pad surface, it will immediately drain through the less dense surface weaving, further preventing the moisture from affecting the pad's performance. But that said, if the pad gets waterlogged with sweat or other moisture sources, it will of course slow down, as all pads will, but moisture from a humid environment or your hands or arms won't affect the AC Pro series of pads performance in any significant way. And in terms of the effects of dust and debris, just like any other version of the Aqua Control series of pads, the AC Pro series is largely immune to larger debris types such as crumbs or pet fur. However, smaller debris particles such as dust as well as dead skin, sweat, and oils from your hands and arms can affect the pad's performance over very long-term use, as they'll fill the gaps in the surface weaving. This will cause lighter colored AC Pro pads to discolor and yellow slightly, but this will only happen again over very long-term use, and you can prevent this by spot cleaning the pad surface periodically to prevent any performance issues or discoloration. And speaking of cleaning the Aqua Control Pro series pads, as I just mentioned, we recommend spot cleaning them with a wet wipe as needed. You can also wash the AC Pro surface with water, and the best way to do this is use a shower head on low pressure and cold water. However, keep in mind this will affect the feel and performance of the AC Pro Neon Mid and Custom, so only fully wash the pad if necessary. And if you do end up fully washing the pad, be sure to let the pad air dry and do not use a hairdryer or another heat source to dry the pad, as they can damage the pad's base and or surface. And as I mentioned earlier, while the AC Pro bases perform great, they do pick up a lot of debris due to their stickier nature, and over very long-term use this can cause the bases to lose their grippiness. If this happens, you can clean the base with a wet wipe or wash it off with a shower head set to low pressure and cold water, which will remove any debris and return the base to its original state. And lastly, in terms of care instructions, just to reiterate the repackaging instructions, the versions that use the extra soft and soft base types can be re-rolled for transport or storage, but they cannot be reverse rolled, so if you need to repackage these versions, make sure you roll them with the base facing inward and the surface outward. And for the mid base types, as I mentioned earlier, this base type can't be rolled or creased, as doing so will damage and crease the surface, hence why this version is shipped flat packed. And if you need to transport or store this version of the AC Pro, you will have to put it in flat packaging. So as I mentioned earlier, we recommend holding onto the packaging that your AC Pro series pad came in. That way in the future, if you need to store or transport the pad, you can do so safely without damaging the pad. Alright, but with that, that's everything you need to know about the Aqua Control Pro series of pads. If you were a fan of the previous iterations of the Aqua Control series pads but want a more premium, no compromise version that comes in multiple base and surface types, all of which have universal game and aim type compatibility, the AC Pro series pads are the perfect upgrade. And don't forget that just like many of our other pad series, the AC Pro also supports full custom printing, so you can make your own one-of-one AC Pro with custom art just like G2 Jojimo did. And as I mentioned earlier, keep in mind that the AC Pro Custom and Pro Neon surfaces are heat treated, which makes them faster than the AC Pro Black versions, and this heat treatment will initially make these versions feel much faster than advertised, but as the surface threading is softened during use, the Neon and Custom AC Pros will settle into their advertised performance profiles. But if you'd like to learn more about the Aqua Control Pro series of pads or pick one up for yourself, you can check out the AC Pro's product pages down in the video description. And if you pick up a pad or anything else from X-Raypad's website, be sure to use code BREAKDOWN for an additional discount. And as always, if you have any specific questions about the Aqua Control Pro series of pads that we didn't cover in this video, feel free to leave a question down in the comments and we'll do our best to answer any questions you may have. But that's all for today. Thanks for watching and thank you for choosing X-Raypad. Cheers.